So in this video, I wanted to test out this product. It's called Amodex Ink and Stain Remover. This is a general use stain remover, and it works on grass stains, crayon, ink and dye, wine and berries, grease and oil, all sorts of other things. But it's really most well known for being the official recommendation by Sharpie as the best way to remove Sharpie from fabric. In previous videos, I've looked at what is the best way to remove Sharpie from fabric. And I use, a Tide pen, baking soda, stuff like more conventional removal things that you might have, stain removers that you might have at home. But I went out and I've got some of this Amodex and I wanted to give it a try. Here is what it looks like. Just this little container. It's called an ink and stain remover. And again, it's the only product I've seen that is on Sharpie's website that they officially recommend, even though it's not from that company. Here are the instructions. Check for color fastness. That would just be do a little check someplace on the fabric. It's not really an issue here. Do not wet stain before applying. For ink stains, place towel beneath. Don't have to worry about that. Shake bottle well, apply, rub in, rinse, or launder. Here is the test fabric we have. It's a jersey, an old t-shirt. In the test, I have Amazon Basics. So this is a Sharpie alternative. Yellow Sharpie, black Sharpie, Milwaukee Inksol, which is a sort of another Sharpie alternative, ballpoint pen, and pencil. So we have Sharpie and then 3 Sharpie-like markers. I guess this is Sharpie, but is in the yellow. Then we have ballpoint, which is popular, and pencil. Here they are, Amazon Basics, yellow Sharpie, black Sharpie, Inksol, your standard Papermate ballpoint, and of course, a pencil. Give this thing a shot. Shake the Amodex. Roughly equal amounts on each. It says you could rub it in with your fingernail or brush. I'm gonna go with a brush. I don't know why I would use my fingernail. So here goes. They say to rub it in until the stain has been removed. I'll give each one a minute and then I will move on to the next one. Continue rubbing ink on to clean areas of paper towel until no ink transfers to paper towel. So I don't have a paper towel behind it, but I'll see how much ink gets removed. So I rubbed in each of these for about a minute. I gave it a break and then did another about 30 seconds each, give or take. And my arm is tired is basically how much I did. I do have the reference marks here so we could see what it looked like initially, plus obviously we'll have it on the video. I'm going to go ahead and rinse it out now. Obviously I can't launder this. There's a board back here. So I'm going to rinse it, dry it, and we'll see how it's looking. Okay, so here we have the results after cleaning with the Amodex and drying. Amazon Basics, which is a Sharpie clone. You can see it's lighter, not fully gone. It's kind of like almost fully gone around there, but it started to pull the color out of the blue fabric and it was starting to pill the fabric, so I pulled back. The yellow Sharpie, you could see not very good removal. I don't know if it's the color or what, but it got it a little bit lighter, but really didn't do a great job there. Okay, so the Sharpie Ultra Fine Point, which uses the same permanent ink as the normal Sharpie, that's this one right here, that we see pretty good removal here, less good here, but okay, it definitely did a pretty good job. Those marks are not really that noticeable anymore. That was less ink. Here's the reference point. So definitely less ink compared to a normal Sharpie, but pretty good removal. Milwaukee Inksol, it's also kind of like an outdoor type Sharpie. That one had okay removal, definitely not great. It's lighter, but still very noticeable. Ballpoint ink came right out. That one is very impressive and no loss of color there. And pencil, also quite good. A little bit of smudginess around there, just from that pencil, since I guess it leaves like a physical graphite there, and it didn't really pick that up so well, but it did get the main pencil line out. And I bet with a full wash, like a more thorough than I would have given here. I can't put this board in the washing machine, obviously, but I did wash it out very thoroughly. I bet that pencil would have been removed. Okay, so now we're moving on to the next portion of the test, and this is meant to simulate a more lifelike situation. I'll get a Sharpie. This is a brand new Sharpie, and I'm going to simulate a drop, the way you would drop a Sharpie on your shirt or your pants or maybe on a couch, something like that. And we're gonna see how quickly I could get it off with the Amodex. All of these were set, as in I wrote with the mark on them. I gave it some time, then I tried to wash it out. So it's not the same sort of test as we'll be doing now. Do a reference point right here. Okay, so that's a nice fresh Sharpie line. Now I'm going to simulate a drop, which would be less ink than here. Like obviously when you're putting it here, it's collecting a lot of ink, and I'm doing maybe multiple lines or whatever, but here is like the way it might work. We'll do a drop at an angle. Usually you don't drop it on a flat surface. Your shirt would usually be at an angle. See a mark right there. Do another one just for reference, a little bit lower. And we'll just do try to simulate a graze. This one's a little bit heavier than you might do with a drop, but we'll consider that to be the worst case situation. And we'll go straight with the Amodex. Probably a little bit heavier than is required, but it should be good. Okay, so far so good. I can see definitely a little bit of a line right there, so I'll work a little bit more. And I might be able to make a little bit of the 2 dots, not really sure. I think those 2 dots are out. Okay, so we're done with the scrubbing and the rinsing. Here's the reference line. You can see it's fully intact. And right around here somewhere were those 2 dots and the line. The dots are right around here. The line, I think you could just barely make it out right there, but no real loss of color to the blue. And the line is basically barely there. And those dots, from what I could see, are basically gone. So I would say that based on my testing, Amodex Ink and Stain Remover works really well on non-set or fresh Sharpie marks on fabric. It has trouble, as will most cleaners, with set marks. It's designed to take out the fresh marks. That's why it's the second half of the test. The set stuff, it did pretty well, better than I expected, but it is definitely not a cure-all for set stains on your shirt. But definitely if you have some fresh Sharpie or a fresh drop from any sort of marker, I would say Amodex is a pretty good cleaner, but that's definitely easier to remove fresh marks than it is from set ones. So I think that pretty much wraps it up. Thanks for watching.